Good morning, Gary Champion, psychic medium. Again, several things. Yesterday afternoon, I was working on a book and I heard one of my guides say, shut down. So I think there's another shutdown coming. I think it's limited at best, but I think that the government's saying there's not a problem. They've said that all along. It'll go away. It's a miracle. It's not a big deal. It's coming. Don't worry about it. I've got a solution. All, of course, which are lies. It is a big deal. The solution isn't here yet. Vaccine will be coming out next year. Happier times. But I think once the administration is gone, that press these points of we don't need a shutdown. We don't need people telling us what to do. A lot of those people are now dead. Well, they didn't heed the warning. They had services and met for whatever reason, large groups. A lot of them are dead now. And when the administration is no longer around that did that, there'll be a conservative view that maybe we should clamp some of these places down, that it's not necessary. So there'll be a renewed attempt to lock down. I don't know, partially successful, but we've kind of been in a cave for a while and come back out, and most of them are not going back to a lockdown. My wife and I have remained sort of good with that. We hang here at the house, shop for groceries, and that's about it. And it's been a lot of fun. And then there's a second part of this video where I've had a lot of people I've talked to lately about the difference between the voice that's your voice in your head and those that are spirit guides, angels, whatever you want to call them, helpers. I've heard all those, and they're okay with all those. What's the difference? That's a tough one. If you're, and hard to distinguish. I don't have that voice. I don't have that internal voice that says I should do this or that. So I don't have to fight that. All I have are spiritual voices. I don't hear my own voice. I haven't heard it for a long time. It sort of disappeared at some point. My interpretation of what's coming happened as me is not reliable. That which comes from the other side always is. So if you're sitting around focusing on something that you want to know an answer to, really focused on it, that's probably your voice. Because you're controlling the situation tends to drive those spiritual voices away. They can't override you, which goes along with the theory. People saying that your body can be inhabited by demons, and we've seen a couple of movies lately like that. I can't watch them because they're so silly. But only one spirit can inhabit a body at one time, and it's your original spirit. And if you die, nothing's going in there to zombie. Zombies aren't real either. Ooh, well, that's terrible. Just killed a bunch of movies. So it's when you're sitting around not thinking that voices come that make sense. And they're contrary to your own thoughts. As I say, I was working on a book and I had a moment where I stopped to just sort of relax. I wasn't doing anything. It's completely blank. They said lockdown. I thought, okay, well, that's a change in people controlling things. That people who have been silenced in the medical field will feel free to, and they already are. As you can see, they're beginning to speak their own minds and tell stories of how they've been shut shut off from speaking their own minds or threatened with one thing or another. There's a lot of that going around, isn't there? Coercion, blackmail. Those are the tenets of what's going on. Those are their main tools. Not tell the truth, because the truth is you can't disprove the truth, for one thing. But the truth is something that it's the first victim in a government's attempt to control and be reelected. The truth, first thing it goes. Disinformation, lies, blackmailing. These are the tools of henchmen from days of old. You know, mobsters would do it. Hitler used it. Will beat enough people and threaten them with one thing or another, which is why all these people have kept quiet about bad things that have happened with a certain person. And now that they no longer fear retribution. Can't sue everybody. So books will come out. Of course, they'll try and stop them, and eventually there'll just be a flood of them. I'm wandering around, aren't I? Sorry about that, but that's the nature of being a medium. You don't generally stick to something. And there's no focusing here. There's no script. I haven't written anything down. This is just what I'm hearing. Anyway, the voices that sound like something you would rather see happen, probably not probably yours, and not from the other side. The other side generally tells you things that go contrary to what you're actually trying to do. I want to buy this car because it's fancy and I like the paint and it has all 18 forward gears and 1,000 horsepower, and your voice is saying, yeah, that's the car you need. That's your voice. From the other side, they're saying you really don't need that. Save the money and put it someplace where it'll do some good. You just need this kind of car. So you don't need the big mansion. You just need this. Need and want, again, back to that. Something you really want, and you're focused on it, and you hear a voice, that's probably yours. They can break in. I can be eating lunch somewhere. My wife and I are talking about something, and somebody walks by and they jump in with something because it's important enough that this person hear that message. So I'll often say things that don't make any sense. I guess there's trouble that goes with that. Doesn't seem to bother me any. Look, he's just an old guy. Old guys say crap like that all the time. But when you're focused, you don't hear those voices. When you're not focused, like now, like I'm not focused. You think I am. I'm doing a video, but I'm not focused at all. You have to surrender to that voice that comes from the other side. And meditation, again, for the 50th or 1000th time, letting go is meditation. You don't have to sit in a particular position, put your fingers in the middle of your thing, and that's too uncomfortable to do for a meditation. Meditation is just not thinking about anything. Almost like dreaming. Dreaming is letting go. Your conscious mind is asleep. Your subconscious mind comes out to play. That's why you dream the fantastical dreams that you do. Is because the conscious mind's been excluded from it. Conscious mind wants to control everything around it, which I've proven to myself is really a waste of time and energy and doesn't produce much, except assholey behavior and money and the things that are not spiritual at all. I'm not saying that spiritual people can't get rich or be rich, but if you're sacrificing your spirituality to be rich, then you're not very spiritual. If you sacrifice spiritual, like helping people, and which is what these videos are about. This is my spirituality. It's getting better because I'm helping you. I'm at a different level than I was a few years ago. Helping you has made that happen. This isn't about fame. There's no fame in an old guy sitting here saying things from the other side. There's no fame in that. There's no money in that. It's just a field to give back. You know, it's a lot of guys, they spend rich people, they spend 40, 50 years beating everybody up, having people destroyed for money. And then as they get closer to death, they start giving it away. Why? Because they see the futility of it. I mean, you can build a building, put your name on it, but eventually buildings get torn down. In this country, in other countries, they just keep repairing them and patching them until the end of time. Historically significant buildings. We don't have very many of those. We don't have very many of those. So they start giving, they have foundations, hoping that will outlive them. It usually does. I could name names where buildings still have their name on them, and they have a thing for giving money to students and good causes, and they have a little group of people that control it, and that was all set up before passing, because what's the point in having money? After you have so much money, what is the point? Well, if you give it back, it does help your spirituality if you're doing it for the right reasons. If you're doing it to withhold it from relatives that'll inherit it, that's not spiritual. But if you're doing it to help people, then that's a spiritual thing. So the difference between your voice is when you're concentrating, you usually hear your voice. And when you're relaxed, you usually hear theirs. I'm not sure what this means. I'm not going to go into that. I'm already at almost 13 minutes, and I'm sure that's long enough. So lockdown possible. They're going to try and put those back in place because those people do care. The people we've had now don't care. These people are concerned that we're losing some pretty brilliant people that we can't replace. You know, once a human is gone, you can't replicate them. You might could clone them. I think that's illegal, but they still wouldn't be the same. And people are a combination of who they are and their experiences. And you can't replicate those experiences that led that person to discover the light bulb. I'm babbling again. Sorry about that. It's the nature of being what I am. No fear, no regret, no anger. Thanks for watching.